Okay, we're going back on again. Thank you so much for joining for today. This is Aluminum Tarot. We're actually going to be reading for the sign of Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising for the month of March 2026. We're going to just peer into what's going on behind the veil and underneath the hood of, or I guess in the UK as we would say, the bonnet of this particular reading. And what we'll see is just kind of what the energies are taking place for this particular month. We are finally in spring or getting close to it. So right now, as of this recording, it's March 10th. We have a few more weeks before we get to that point where we can actually say it's officially spring. We've gone through the baleful winter that we've experienced. We're out finally from the year of the snake. And we have gone through the blood moon. And I believe that was the eclipse in Virgo, if I'm not mistaken, which has finally cleared out a lot of the clutter and helped us to get organized and revitalized in our lives, which is going to give us that extra push that we need to get started with the Year of the Fire Horse, which took place, it started to kick off on 17th February. So as always, if you like what you see here, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. And feel free to leave a monetary contribution if you would like to in the PayPal link in the description box below. That said, let's get on with it. I've shuffled the cards. We're going to be going back to the trusty dusties Rider-Waite. And your card is Two of Cups. So your central theme right now is all about how you are relating to other people. So the Two of Cups is a good card, but it's the beginnings of relating to someone else, because it takes two to make it, it takes two to make a thing go right, if you want to sing that song. But yeah, what we're seeing here is, there are two people who are quite different from one another. And additionally, you are working through the process of exchanging your emotional cup with that other person and seeing whether or not it's something you want to drink from. And with that said, the challenge is also, if I can come up the nudes so that YouTube doesn't get all crazy and stuff, but we have the Devil in the reverse. That is your card, Capricorn. So Sagittarius got their card as the challenge, which was Temperance in the reverse. You're getting the Devil in the reverse. So there is a reoccurring theme where the challenge is something that is going within the individual, trying to get that on the right path. Because the Temperance was in the reverse for the Sagittarius, meaning that they're not quite properly aligned with themselves. In that respect, the Devil for you. Now, when we talk about the Devil, what I always tell people is that we look at the Devil as a source of understanding and knowledge of the shadow self. Now, what the Devil is similar to is the Lover's card. If you look at the Lover's card in the Rider-Waite Tarot, you see Archangel Raphael presiding over a decision that's taking place between the Adam and Eve figure. They're naked and vulnerable, and that particular, symbolism and imagery. And this one, we have the Devil, and it's the same thing, except they're being corrupted by the force of the black box of Saturn. Now, in both situations, you have a choice. With the Archangel Raphael and the Lover's card, you have the choice to make something presided over by the divine. The Devil is presided over by the force of the black box of Saturn. There's a choice to escape. But as we see here, the longer the people stay within this kind of ruinous state, they start to become different. They start to change. They're growing horns, things of that nature. And ironically, you have the Devil here, which is shining his torch down at the people. And he's got his hand, one hand up like this, one hand like that. As above, so below. You're still the master of your fate. The magician does the same thing. He has his hand, one hand up, one hand down. As above, so below. You're the creator of your fate, depending on how you choose to align with the universe. And with that said, that is the challenge. It's you realigning with the universe in order to make sure that the relationship that you're forging right now is on solid, stable ground. Because what I see here in the recent past is that we have a person who has kind of stopped giving to this union, this situation. Maybe this is you, maybe this is a person that you're dealing with. We can clarify. Please clarify the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Clarify the Six of Pentacles. Yeah. So you have Knight of Wands in the reverse. So this is a person who's kind of a bit flighty. Maybe you perceive this person to be flighty. Maybe you perceive this person to be a bit unreliable, or a bit of a playboy, playgirl, whatever you want to say, or just generally speaking, not a very scrupulous individual. And they may say one thing one day and do a different thing another day, which is why either you have stopped giving to it or they have stopped giving it to it because they perceive you in the same light. And however that is playing out in your life, family, friends, colleagues, workers, romance, so on, that is going to be the energy that presents itself at this particular point in time. We then start to go to the Emperor in the reverse, which is your card for what's taking place in the near future. Clarify the Emperor in the reverse. And there we have it. Ace of Cups in the reverse. We're seeing a situation where you have formed a relationship with someone, or you're at least in the process of exchanging energetic flows with this person, only for it to collapse on you. So I see, like, when you have the Devil card, and that's in your challenge position, the challenge is for you to let go of fears, doubts, and insecurities. I'll explain a little bit more about that later because there's more evidence showing for this. But whatever fears, doubts, and insecurities you have, if you choose not to let them go, then you embody them. And that's what the Devil card is about. It's not about, this is the devil here, Satan on the black box, and he's turning these, he's corrupting his Adam and Eve influence. He's like, hey, here's a light. Maybe you should take a good look at yourself and find out where your fears, your doubts, your insecurities are. That way you can loosen the chains from the black box of Saturn and then liberate yourself. And that's what you're in the process of doing. The challenge for you is to liberate yourself from the fears connected to this relationship. On the current trajectory, if you continue this way, the relationship's dead. There's not going to have one come back. Emperor in the reverse is going to be someone trying to control the outcome of the situation. So that can be an Aries or someone with Aries in the chart, or just a domineering figure who just wants to shut things down, close it out. Ace of Cups in the reverse, pouring out the cup. Okay, I'm going home. We're not going to have this. Now, what I see here, in the core of your energy, you have the moon in the reverse, which talks a lot about trying to get clear on something and illuminate things. It's kind of like the sun, but like just at the very beginnings of it, at the dawn. Clarified by the Seven of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. So you're currently deep within. You're going within and you're trying to understand whether or not this person, this is Queen of Wands, male or female, the person that you're actually looking at, but this is a person who could embody Aries, Leo, Sagittarian qualities, and additionally be very attractive to you and alluring. And you're now in the process of trying to understand whether or not this person is worth your time. You, in the recent past, had the Knight of Wands in the reverse because that's how you see them. And in the future, you have the Emperor in the reverse. So this person could definitely be a fire sign that is coming in, that is coming and going in. And I think that, you're in this period of reflection. Is this person worth my time? I need the light of the moon to see where I'm going with this, because it could easily fall to the wayside if I'm not clear on the path that I'm trying to take. So this takes that deep introspection. And for what is currently known, you have the Ace of Swords and the Eight of Wands. Ace of Swords in the reverse is a lack of clarity on something. So if you have communicated with this person, you feel that things are not clear with this person, they could feel the same about you. And additionally, it could also mean that communication has been blocked or not taking place already, although there is a desire for you to give that communication with them, because the Eight of Wands is there, but the Ace of Swords is in the reverse. So it's it's kind of like that person who's like, I want to say something, but I don't know how to say it. I don't know how this is going to happen. Clarify these two cards. Yeah. The other thing that's clarifying it is the Hangman. So Hangman is also insinuating that there is a loss of understanding on each person's perspective. Because it's in the reverse, it's almost like either you or the person that you're dealing with doesn't want to see it from your point of view. And it's creating an impasse. So that's where the Ace of Swords in the reverse is coming about. Now, should things continue on the path that they're on now, you have the Nine of Wands, and then you have the Five of Cups. Very clear-cut explanation that one or both of you will remain guided and secretly disappointed. Clarify these two cards for the outcome. Yeah, Four of Cups. Someone kind of essentially being left out in the cold. You go from the Four of Cups to the Five of Cups. So this is like, if you don't take action on it now, which is currently in the point of someone being heavily guarded and not wanting to accept any cup or offering of love, so that, now it just proceeds to transform and transmute into a Five of Cups, which is the disappointment of what you have had to face. So that said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at the Oracle card, which is the Moonology Oracle deck. You have Work Through Your Fears, New Moon in Scorpio. This is the dawn of a time in which you have to confront very intense emotions about yourself and work through the challenges that are presenting themselves to you now that you are relating to someone in love. And the problem with this is that if you fail the test, the love relationship cannot take place. If one or both of the people are guarded, then it makes it very difficult for the exchange of emotion to happen. Now, because this is your reading, Capricorn, I'm going to just kind of put it out there and say, it's quite possible you need to do this so that you can finally receive this instead of the other way around. You have the ability to avert this disaster or this crisis if you take the proactive steps to go through and face your own fears. Because it's another message you have for Capricorn. Yeah. Period of healing, period of experimentation, period of understanding, patience with yourself, patience with other people, getting balanced again. And perhaps if you've experienced anything in the past where you just kind of shut down love and not want to have anything to do with it, then perhaps that could be progressing into the future. Whereas this potential love relationship is dead in the water because there's no attempt or effort made to make this come into fruition. And so that can be a very tragic thing for many people to experience. I mean, it seems to be that people want to always play it cool or coy when it comes to relationships, and they want to hold back, they want to make other people chase them. I think that the prepubescent mentality that pervades love and dating in 2026 is one of the main reasons why people are leaving relationships altogether. Now, when people do not have the ability to self-regulate, when they're in the process of growing up, and they don't have those boundaries, restrictions, and that guidance needed to be able to self-regulate your emotions, to be able to, respect boundaries, other things like that, you get a lot of dysregulated people flooding the market. So it's kind of like a quality control. If there's a lot of shit products entering into a warehouse because something's gone wrong with the conveyor belt or something's gone wrong with the process of manufacturing all of those things, then you just get a bunch of defective products that no one can use, or that there's no utility, no use value in them. And that, to me, is essentially what is taking place in the dating market. we have a lot of cultural and parental misjudgments or misguidedness that creates a huge quality control issue in the creation of the new generation of people, because there are either no parents around to actually guide and shepherd them, there's only one or both of the parents that are not doing their job, or it's completely dysfunctional and the kid grows up growing up basking in an environment of chaos and instability. So all of these people decide they're going to go find love. And when they do it, they realize that the first thing that they do in these relationships is sabotage them. And they like that little high in the beginning. And then after that, it just turns into an absolute nightmare, a shit show, because the person hasn't learned how to be confident in themselves to the point where they don't need external validation or reassurances, or to chase highs like dopamine hits. So when they said that we were going to live in a zombie apocalypse soon, I think this is the zombie apocalypse. And I'll get preachy on that in another ramble of rant. But essentially, the zombie apocalypse is the dawn, Night of the Living Dead. When a person is dead, they have no sensation or understanding of the outside world. There is no spirit still within the body. And they're just being controlled by whatever whims and other things, external factors that are there to animate them to have these basic coarse desires, like eating brains. I think that many people in the world can be like that, especially in the dating scene, because you have a lot of people who are unconsciously sleepwalking through their life, through their relationships, and allowing the unconscious to ravage and ruin them. And as Carl Jung says, if you do not make the unconscious known or conscious, you will, how did you say it? Yeah, it will guide your life, or it will guide your life, and you will call it fate, something along those lines, and you don't want to have a lot of unconscious fears, this devil in the reverse, to guide the principles that become your everyday reality when it comes to relating to other people. That's how you get Karens. That's how you get people with borderline personality disorder. You get narcissists. You get a lot of people who have like these really fucked up ways of relating with people because they have maladaptive relationship strategies, because they haven't been shown or they haven't been regulated to have the right ones. And I don't know why I'm preaching about this, but I'm just saying in this case, for whoever this resonates with, it is important that you get yourself right first, and then you can go into the market, the dating pool, and then you can understand what it is that you want to give your energy to or not. So, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so very much. Again, this is the Aluminum Tarot. I'm going to just cut it straight off from there. I appreciate your time, energy, and attention to this reading. And until next time, love and light. All the best.